YouTube, this is Necrostevo and you're watching my 39th narrated Wi-Fi battle. Wow, these are getting quite a bit underway here. So today's battle is quite a bit longer than normal. This was a 54 turn battle I had against one of my friends Pruitt here at the University of Alabama. I run the Pokemon League here at the university, and he's one of the regular attendees that comes. This is the first battle that I had against Stall, so I just want to warn you all up front that it does have some, basically this is a battle of can I break through SkarmBliss or not. And if you all are interested in seeing if I can do that, especially with some more lower tier Pokemon, please stick around. It's been a while since I battled him, so he starts off with Skarmory, and that's what reminds me that he has SkarmBliss. Knowing that he's going to set up the Stealth Rocks, I go straight for Flamethrower. This is a Scarf-Tied Dragon. I've been trying out different items on it to see what works better. I kind of wish I had put Specs on it this battle, because that would have killed him or put him at Sturdy. He switches out to Blissey to take the expected Flamethrower. I burn him, but that's not really a big deal because of Natural Cure. And I believe that I am just going to swap out and go right into my Fortress, expecting him to Toxic, because I know that he carries Toxic, Ice Beam, Soft Boiled, and Seismic Toss. He does Toxic, and this will give me a chance to start setting up some of my entry hazards. I actually have 2 Rapid Spinners on this team. I didn't exactly mean to do that, but it works out pretty well in my favor, because both Tentacruel and Fortress have Rapid Spin. I set up some spikes, and he brings in Gengar and goes for the sub, which I wasn't expecting. I went on into Tentacruel to take maybe the hidden power or whatever he wanted to do. I take that Shadow Ball very nicely and break his substitute with Scald, which is nice. Since he went for Shadow Ball, I know that he doesn't have Thunderbolt. I believe right here I may just go for another Scald, expecting him to keep subbing up. He brings out Gyarados, which is no problem. Unfortunately, I don't get the burn. The crit didn't really matter. You can see he's running a bunch of different bulky Pokemon and not really any all-out attackers yet. I bring out Fortress, expecting him to go for Earthquake or Waterfall, expecting a switch maybe. He goes out into Skarmory as I set up a Reflect, which I'm trying out a dual screen set on my Fortress, so we'll see how that works out this battle. He goes for a Roost as I just stay in and get rid of his entry hazards to force him to lay them back up. I see that he has Rocky Helmet on that Skarmory, which really sucks. That means I'm not going to be able to Rapid Spin against it as much as I want. But since he has to lay back up those entry hazards, I'm going to force him to switch out with Scarfied Dragon again, and I know Blissey's coming in, so this time I can just U-turn and switch out to something more appropriate than staying in with special attack. So I go out into Darmanitan to threaten basically anything on his team with Life Orb, Sheer Force boosted Flare Blitz. He goes on into a defensive Zapdos, and I go for Flare Blitz, and I get a critical hit, which kills it outright. Didn't really matter because I would have outsped it since it is defensive and either killed it with another Flare Blitz or gone for Rock Slide. So that didn't really matter. So I'm able to eliminate one of his defensive walls, tanky type things there. My Spore Mid, Amoonguss, is a good switch into Gyarados because it resists the moves he has, even if he did have Bounce, which he doesn't. I don't think he has that, I don't believe. He might have Ice Fang though, but since I am max defense, not going to take much. Expecting the Spore, I suppose, he swapped down into Scizor. That's fine by me. I am completely okay with putting something that has priority to sleep. I see this as an opportunity to get up more of my entry hazard since he does not have any type of spinner on his team. And I go for Rapid Spin. I think I momentarily forgot about Gengar right there, so that was kind of a bad play because I could have gotten up another layer of spikes right there. And he does take the opportunity to go for another substitute with Gengar, which sucks because that means I got to stay in and break it again. Makes a good move and gets his HP back a little bit by going for Pain Split right there. I probably would have just attacked if I were him, but now he has more HP to make more substitutes because I'm the one getting my HP back with the Black Sludge and the leftovers, so why not, give some of that back. I just go for another Scald right here. I probably should have tried to lay up the Toxic Spikes a little earlier than I did, but I was playing really carefully around his defensive core because I knew if I lost key members of my team, such as my physical attackers like Darmanitan or Archeops, then it would be extremely hard to break through Blissey because I do have Acid Spray on this Tentacruel, which will lower the special defense on Blissey, but I have to play my cards a little carefully with that because he has a Poison type and a Steel type to switch into those. 2 Steel types actually. So I go for one layer of Toxic Spikes and then I go for the other. Now that I have that down, when Blissey switches in, it will be taking a good chunk from Spikes and it's also going to be toxic. So even though it has natural cure switching out, it's going to force him to heal up and switch out much more often than he normally would. Knowing that he's going to go for Seismic Toss and it's only going to do 50 HP because we were in person, I switch out to Spore Mid. I get the lucky Effect Spore, but since Spore Mid can't really do anything to Blissey, I don't really think that that mattered. I wanted to Toxic him more so than get the sleep on him. So this right here is kind of just a little spot in the battle where I just get an opportunity to get some of my HP back. Right there, he shows me that he did keep Ice Beam on his Blissey from before in 4th gen. Uh, I get a crit on Giga Drain, didn't really matter at all. I didn't do any damage to him. I got back a little bit of HP, but I didn't even heal up what he did to me with the Ice Beam. And I'm just staying in here so that I can Toxic him and force him to either recover up or switch out. Because if he switches, yes, it'll heal, but then he'll be Toxic again when he switches back in. And I don't have Stealth Rocks on this team, which was kind of a bad decision, because Skarmory switching in and out as much as it was, it really would have been hindered a lot by Stealth Rocks. But it's interesting to see how not having Stealth Rocks played out. I see we both double switched right there, and he goes into Scizor as I went into Tentacruel, and then I was expecting him to go back out into Blissey, so I switched into Fortress so that I could get up more entry hazards, and also possibly Rapid Spin if for some reason he brought back in Skarmory. So here he does bring back in Skarmory, and I get another layer of spikes up, which is fantastic because, again, I'm really trying to make sure that that Blissey gets hurt by switching around a lot. And he just sets back up his Stealth Rocks, expecting him to go for the Whirlwind. I stay in and Rapid Spin because I knew I would survive the 12.5% from the Rocky Helmet, and whatever he whirlwinded me into, he would probably just stay in and set up his Stealth Rocks, giving me his free switch. And that is what he does. He sets up Stealth Rocks again, which means I get a free swap into Darmanitan, which means I'm going to whop whatever I want to on his team with another Flare Blitz. I'm taking a lot of recoil damage. And here you just see the power of Life Orb, Sheer Force, Darmanitan, as that's a clean amount of damage on Gyarados. And that's a defensive Gyarados, and that's after an Intimidate. So without an Intimidate, I would probably still 2-hit KO it. I make a bad play right here and go for Protect for some reason to make sure he was going to Shadow Ball, but then I just stay in anyway. So I'm not sure what I was thinking right there. I guess I could have gone into Tentacruel since he doesn't. He does have the Stealth Rocks up. But anyways, he finds out right there that I'm Scarfed as I outspeed his Gengar and I kill it with Dragon Pulse. And here he gets hurt by the spikes, and I just decide to stay in and try to 2-hit KO him from where he is with Dragon Pulse, and that turns out to be a good play because he stays asleep. Even when he tried to use Bullet Punch there, he stayed asleep, and a Bullet Punch would not have KO'd me from that HP anyway. Even if he was banded, I don't think that would have KO'd me. So he brings in Blissey, takes a ton of damage from the entry hazards, and gets toxicked. And I get a chance to go out into X-Death to see what he was going to do. He just goes for Soft Boil, which is fine. I really just wanted a free switch, and leaving in Hydreigon to possibly get hit by an Ice Beam would not be a good idea. So he is now Toxic, which is great. I go out into my Archeops to see what he wants to switch into a Flying Gym boosted Acrobatics, and Skarmory comes in. This is where the entry hazards hitting Skarmory would have helped, because if he had taken another bit of percentage damage, it would have forced him to do something. Besides Roost, hopefully, he maybe would have gone for the attack. I don't really know. But that did pitiful damage to that Skarmory. I really do not like SkarmBliss combo, but going up against it is a good way to test out your team and also just see how good you are at wall breaking. I'm able to put his Skarmory to sleep because he must not have much attack EVs in it, because that Drill Peck did not do really anything to my Amoonguss. And I'm trying to make sure both of my defensive walls, Amoonguss and Tentacruel, stay above 50 HP, so that when Blissey comes in, all I can really do is Soft Boiled or Seismic Toss, because it's really easy for me to predict around his Ice Beam usage. So if I can stay above that HP number, I can make sure I can always live whatever Seismic Toss he wants to do. Here I go for Acid Spray, which doesn't do very much damage, but it does cut his special defense in half. Now that has two purposes. Number one, it either forces him to take a lot more damage from Scald, or it forces him to switch out without soft boiling. So I just go for Acid Spray again. I know that he still has the Skarmory, and I know he still has the Scizor, but generally Blissey walls Tentacruel, so I knew he would want to stay in right here. Right here, now that he is healed back up to full HP, I figured he might switch out, because after -4 special defense and he's going to take toxic damage, he's going to be pretty low. So I switched to Scald instead of going for another Acid Spray, and that does a decent chunk to Skarmory, which is nice. I go for another Scald, staying in. Yes, he could have woken up, and no, he couldn't have woken up because that was his sleep turns get reset. So no, he couldn't. That was safe. And now that I know I'm faster than him, I can knock out his Skarmory. And now that that defensive pivot is down for him, that is basically the beginning of the end for his team. He switches into Blissey. Now that I'm back again above 50 HP, I can stay in and go for Acid Sprays if for some reason he was able to, wall me out. Acid Spray would lower his special defense to such that Hydreigon could actually do damage to him. He misclicked Toxic on that last turn, which it doesn't help him any, but it doesn't really matter. He could stall out longer if he wanted to. Pruitt is probably one of the most patient battlers I know. Each of the times that I've lost to him, it's really been because I was unable to break through his walls. So, as frustrating as it is facing SkarmBliss, it really is a good way to not only test out teams, test out my own patience, and also just get a better understanding of wall breaking in general. Because I guess I could run more mix sets like maybe Mix Infernape, Rock and Close Combat, and Overheat, but those things aren't really my style. Anyways, if you all enjoyed this battle, I know it was a little long, but please click like and subscribe. And let me know if you'd like to see more stuff like this in the future. Alright, have a nice day.